Guys, PFL Swift here, and today I want to bring you a new series which I would like to call Intro to Draft League. It's aimed mainly at players looking to get into draft. Maybe you can watch it yourself even if you're more practiced to see if you agree with what I'm saying. If you like the series, leave a like and subscribe if you want more. Let me know in the series if there's or in the comments if you want me to cover anything in particular or any questions you want to ask. So let's get into it. Draft leagues are where there's usually 12 to 16 people would take turns to draft until their rosters are full. The main three types of draft league would be tiered, which is your UCL kind of draft, which is straightforward, everything's the tiers. You just pick relevant to tier. There's points, which every Pokemon has a point price put on them, and you use your points to buy those Pokemon. So you need to balance that out to make sure you don't overspend and end up with useless Pokemon at the bottom end of the draft. Or there is the mixed, which is the GBA style, which you get a set allocation of free Pokemon, then you get 400 points to get the last four on your roster. I'll mainly be referring to the mixed draft in this video. They all kind of work out the same way in terms of the strength of a team you can draft anyway. So it's neither here nor there which one. They all kind of cross-transferable. Number one is to figure out a main Pokemon or core you want to draft around. Say for example you want an offensive core or offensive Pokemon like Gengar. It's just an example, you might want something different. But for the video I'll talk about how Gengar is a powerful fast Pokemon. Very good at cleaning up, very good at breaking, gets nasty plot, gets a lot of coverage, gets a lot of phasing things like Will-O-Wisp, Icy Wind, slow opponents down, etc. Its main power comes from its Shadow Ball and Sludge Wave combo, which do hit almost everything in the game, but there are things that can't break. Bulky normals being one, dark types being one it doesn't like, steel types being one that's immune to Sludge Wave, which is the more powerful of the two moves in its main stabs. It does get Focus Blast, which isn't overly reliable. So you kind of want something reliable to deal with those normal, dark, bulky steel types, which is perfect for fighting types. You can pair it with a slower, more bulky kind of fighting type like Conkeldurr or Machamp, which is just raw power, a little bit slower, can take a hit. You go for a quicker one like Keldeo or Mienshao. The main thing you're looking at here is picking something powerful enough that when it's in, it clicks buttons and you don't have to worry too much about predicting. Same as Gengar, that's where your offensive cores are the most effective. So basically you get one in and you tear holes. For these kind of ones you want to maybe look at something to cover the others Pokemon, but realistically, if you've got fighting and Gengar, the fighting is only really resisted by flying, poison. Flying, poison, and fairy. Gengar can kind of deal with the fairy, somewhat deal with poison or flying with its coverage, like Energy Ball and Thunderbolt. But you could also go for something sitting a bit lower in the tiers, maybe like a Mamoswine. Well, it's a bit generic because it hits everything. You go something bulkier like a Rhyperior or something. It's quick, kind of takes out the poison plant types. You know where I'm going, where you want to cover all the types in your main offensive core. Machamp, for example, and Gengar would be fantastic. Keldeo, Gengar would be fantastic. The whole point is they all work well together. You go lower tier for like Karyobi and Chow as well. Virizeon's another one because it resists ground for Gengar. Hits the ground types, can also hit bulky water types, it's a big one. Then that'd be your basic example. Another offensive core you could go for maybe would be like a Darmanitan. It's just tier 2, so it's quite low in Keldeo, Stormy. An interesting one, people might disagree with me, it'd be a bit of a meme at this point, would be maybe Basculin, which has adaptability and flip turn. So you could essentially, what likes to come in Basculin would be your bulky water types. You can flip turn it out, do chunk that down. Bulky water types also like to resist Darmanitan's main answer is. So you see where I'm going is you're kind of chipping into the bulky waters that stop Darmanitan till you get to the point where you could just completely wreck through. Then obviously when you flip turn or you turn with Darmanitan, you go to your grass. Force them out if you have hazards down. That's just a great way to completely chunk down a team with an offensive core. The other kind of core would be a defensive one. For example, if you wanted to draft maybe Clefable, you would want to grab something that resists poison and steel, like another steel type. So you've got the likes of Ferrothorn, maybe Jirachi or Corviknight. They all cover the poison steel weakness, but they also, Ferrothorn has the iron barbs. So if you physically hit it with a poison, it's immune. If you hit it with a steel, it resists, and more than likely, it'll be, if it's a physical, it'll damage the Pokemon attacking as well, further chipping down things. Corviknight's just really bulky Pokemon. Jirachi is one of those sort of all-rounders. You can put up your rocks. Clefable also gets rocks, so it'll lead into another part of the video, which is important. It gets momentum, as does Clefable, so you're kind of getting a bit of everything with these Pokemon. And then you would want to cover those weaknesses from your steel types with something maybe like a bulky dragon. So you go Clefable, Ferrothorn. An interesting option could be like maybe a Druddigon, which is lower tier. So you're getting the best out of your points here without blowing it all on the high tier Pokemon. Druddigon would be interesting with Ferrothorn because not only does Ferrothorn chip with its ability, but so does Druddigon, which is Rough Skin. So if a Pokemon physically attacks it, it loses health. So if you see where I'm going, you're kind of losing health every other that way. Another thing with Clefable and a Steel type is you could also maybe run a Sand team for further chip, with Magic Guard, Steel being immune. Maybe a Rock Dragon like Tyrantrum, which gets a special defense boost in Sand. Maybe with like a Hippowdon or something in there as well. And you've got a very bulky core there and a powerful attacker at the same time. That would go well with the likes of a Corviknight, I would say. Or Jirachi. Depends which one. And you basically get where I'm coming from with this, where you're looking to cover weaknesses, so that you can constantly heal around. Clefable gets Wish, so recovery on the likes of Tyrantrum, if you went that route, or the Ferrothorn Druddigon, you could Wish Pass into the two. You know, so that's why that's such a good Pokemon to build around, is it doesn't require so much to happen on the rest of the teammates. Number 2 is points management. Now you have your cores. There's other things you need to, I've talked a little bit about points management now as well. You need to cover all of the other things, as likes of momentum, such as Flip Turn, U-Turn, Volt Switch and Teleport. A few of the Pokemon I've not mentioned before have these. If you need momentum, if you need any of these following things, just type in the move into the likes of Bulbapedia or Cerebi. It'll bring up a list of each Pokemon that learns it. And you can work around what type that Pokemon is, that you need to fill the role. You also want them to be somewhat viable as well. hence the reason why I would recommend maybe if you're a tier that's high, especially defensive tiers, kind of drop a wee bit lower for the last part of it. Like you obviously can't afford like a Clefable Fairthorn Latias combo, but you could by drafting the likes of Tyrantrum or Drodigan. They may not be the best, but they complete the core, they do the job, and they leave you with points available to get the more important things coming in. Next, after the momentum, you would want hazards, stealth rocks. Like, for example, in the defensive core I mentioned, you would have the Core of a Knight, you would have Clefable, both Learn Rocks, Fairthorn and Spikes, so you're kind of covering that there as well. But you would want at least 2 Stealth Rocks. There's also 3 other hazard types in Toxic Spikes, Spikes, and Sticky Webs. Sticky Webs is great for your offensive course. Say, like the Darmanitan core that I mentioned, it's a wee bit slow, especially with the likes of Basculin, which although it's a very niche Pokemon, it's the same thing where I'm saying that you get the high tier, you get the low tier. But they're kind of around 95, 97, I believe, in speed. Sticky Web would then allow them to outspeed stuff much faster than them. Toxic Spikes and Spikes are more important for your defensive cores, like the other half. Stealth Rocks is by far the most important in my opinion, because Focus Sash is a way to stop sweepers, etc., and Stealth Rocks hits everything in the game which will break a sash, unless they've got, but then of course they could have heavy duty boots, but they won't be sashed that way. So the next thing you want to look at in this is priority. You've got Bullet Punch, Mach Punch, Aqua Jet, etc., which are all moves of higher priority, which means they always go first, no matter what a Pokemon speed is. They usually tend to be lower in power. But what these do is, say you want to get chip damage on something you're sacking, or say seconds whenever you let a Pokemon go down so you can gain momentum getting what you need in. And basically, also they're handy for fast Pokemon, especially ones with like that are weak to it. For example, if you are sitting on a Charizard or a Volcarona that's set up, Aqua Jet's super effective, especially on a powerful one. If it's set up, that's an option to get rid of it. Shadow Sneak's a big one too. The likes of fast, bulky, or fast, frail, psychic, and ghost types. Let's see, Extreme Speed's a big one as well because it's quite higher base power. And you can get quite a lot of these covered in the lower tiers. Great examples would be a Volt Switch in almost every electric type, like Jolteon, even let's see, Vikavolt. It's a powerful but slow Pokemon. It's low tier. U-Turn is on a whole host of bugs, like so Scyther, Cinccino. Like, there's so much low tier Pokemon that get all this. So if you're getting to the end of the draft and you don't have these in a type that you need, it's a good way to get the coverage. Last up, you want clerics, likes of Aromatherapy and Heal Bell, which cures your team of all status ailments, your burn, poison, badly poison, or paralysis. Likes of Clefable would have that if you drafted the defensive core. A lot of low tier Pokemon are great for this as well if you really need it. Likes of Audino, Aromatisse, a lot of grass types get them. So like, you've never a reason to not have them in your team. You just need to make it fit. Number 3, cover as many types as possible. Now, first off, I want to make sure that in my draft plan, I've got all of the immunity types covered. So you want a steel type to make sure you're immune to poison. You want a fairy type to be immune to dragon. You want a ground type to be immune to electric. You want to be a flying type to be immune to ground. You want a normal type to be immune to ghost. You want a ghost type to be immune to fight and normal. Did I say dark for psychic? So all of the immunity types, you want these covered in your draft plan, whether it be high or low tier. It doesn't really matter. You have to kind of have them just to prevent spam. Like Scarf or choice Pokemon that have these kind of moves. It prevents that. Then after that, I would cover. There's important types I would cover. I would go for grass, fire, water, for obvious core. Dragon is a big one for me. Electric, a lot of people. I like to have an electric. Not everyone thinks it's imperative. And poison, because it absorbs toxic spikes, and it's super effective and resists fairies, which is very important in draft. If you don't have it, you'll find that you can have a problem breaking through bulky fairies. Especially if your steel type's defensive. If you're a defensive steel type, I would recommend getting a good poison type. If I have them, I'm happy enough normally. If I can fit in bug, ice is a fantastic offensive type. Rock, if I can get that in, that's great as well. Most have stealth rocks. So it's kind of like you've got your immunity types and the important types. Get them, and then if you can squeeze the others in, fantastic. I wouldn't break your back to get them in if they don't fit the team. The likes of your main types, there's also dual types. You can also use to cover them. For example, likes of if you were going to try and cover a bug type and you wanted a fighting type for Gengar offensive, a great option would be Heracross. That will cover your bug type, so you can kind of squeeze those less important types, in my opinion, in there. It's worth looking at that also. Number 4 is draft Pokemon you like. When you're first starting, at the very least. Say you're not that familiar with them all. Pick a Pokemon you know works, something you've used a lot, and build around it if you can. And have fun with it, especially in your first couple of draft leagues. Make sure you have fun. Don't take it too seriously, and just learn as you're doing it. Watch all the battles, watch what other people are drafting, how they're using what they're drafting, and learn as you go. It's the best way to do is learn by doing it. And as long as you're having fun, you're not really losing. If you're learning, you're not losing. You might not be winning, but you'll be gaining something from each match. And make sure you watch your battles back. So get the replay. If it's on Showdown, just upload the replay, keep it, and watch it back. Watch it a couple of times and look at what you've done. Try to think of something you could have done differently. The worst thing you can do is just say that I'm not good enough. You can always learn, come back stronger, and never give up. And eventually you'll just get better at the game and hopefully get to where you want to be in terms of ability, and eventually start winning leagues even. Especially if you're starting out, try and make it clear that you're starting out. Make sure that the league you're going into is a little bit more casual, so that you're not going against full sweats, and just build up to it. Then once you can get into the better leagues, then you'll obviously start learning a lot more. It'll be tougher, but it'll be worth it. And that's all I have for this one. If you find it informative, leave a like and subscribe. And leave some comments below, suggestions or questions. And until next time, stay creative.